episode of the Knit Chat with Jen podcast. I am your host, Jen. If you are new to the podcast, thank you so much for checking me out. If you are returning, I appreciate you coming back every week or every 2 weeks or a month, however long I podcast. Anyway, thank you. I really appreciate it. This is a podcast about knitting, books, makeup, and whatever else I want to throw in. Hopefully today is not the kitchen sink because we're going to make this under an hour. Because that last episode was very hard to process and edit and whatnot. So, yeah. So you guys, grab your beverage of choice, grab your crafty thing, and let's chat. Today I'm having some decaf coffee that it's just decaf French roast, but then I added some pumpkin spice in there. It's not coming out the way I think I really do need to not just get the packaged pumpkin spice from McCormick, but the actual nutmeg, allspice, cinnamon, and I know there's something else in there. It's nutmeg, cinnamon, allspice, sometimes cloves. Maybe it's the cloves that I need. I don't know, but I want to make my own because it's now September. Yeah, by the way, it's a beautiful Sunday, September 4th, 2016. Alright, talking about my drink. I continue to write my notes. See? And my drink. Today on the agenda is knitting, books, makeup, a little bit of stash therapy, and etc., etc., etc. So, what can I talk about? Oh, let's talk about knitting, shall we? And can I say cheers to the pumpkin spice latte season? Yes. I'll talk about that more and etc., etc., etc. So knitting, I have nothing off the needles. I didn't knit fast enough, guys. So let's talk about what's on the needle still. I am going to show you first what has been my mostly worked on project. I've been a little bit on the monogamous side, or as Cherry Pearls would say, monotonous. Although, I don't think your project is very monotonous. It's very pretty. I'm envious. So I'm doing the Pure Joy Shawl. I've weaved in the ends over here because I'm at the last wedge. See the last wedge. And of course I'm showing you on the wrong side. Oy. So I'm on the last wedge of this. And it's a top-down shawl using short rows. It's a paid-for pattern by Joji Locatelli. This is called the Pure Joy shawl, which I'll put right here and down in the show notes as usual. So I'm on the last wedge again, as I said, and then I will be done. Yay! I know this last wedge is going to take forever, so I'm not expecting it to be done today, although I will try. I will try my best. This shawl is knit on a US 6. I'm using my Chaogu lace, which is nice and pointy. And the yarn is Knit Pick Stroll. Let me go. I got the tags ready. And also, the gray that I'm on is on Lisa Souza. And her Timaru base. Color is agate. It's 65% Superwash Merino, 35% Bamboo Rayon. And these are all fingering weight. This is Knit Pick Stroll. And the colors are, if it would focus. Seriously, guys? Seriously? Don't focus on my face. There you go. This is Royally Tonal. This is the Eggplant Purple. Deep Water Tonal, which is the darker blue, blurple is the best term. Thank you. And the last one, the more turquoise, is Blue Yonder. If I could, hold it straight. There you go. And Austral is 75%, if you don't remember. If I could hold it straight. 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. And I have a ton left. You want to see? Without knocking down my yarn. My project. So, yeah. So I could probably knit 4 pairs of socks with these. Which I have no problem with. Because my friend, so this is a commission shawl. And she said I could keep the yarn afterwards. So, that is my first project. Okay. So the second project that I'm doing is my commission socks. I didn't get much done on this. I did finish the ribbing though. Oh, and it's in my Eyeliner bags. I forget the name of the other one, but it's my TARDIS bigger on the inside bag. This is my Eyeliner Doctor Who. This was from my Doctor Who bag club. Stay. And this is as much as I have done. And of course I'm showing you the wrong side. Of course I am. This is with Barocco. Barocco Socks Metallic. I'll show you the label. I was around here. I don't have progress keepers, guys, so you just have to deal with my fingers. Or I guess I could put a safety pin, but I don't want to. So I was around here. So I finished the ribbing and I just started on the leg. The needle is my Chowgu lace in my US 1.5s. If you want to see the needle points. And let me quickly show you the yarn label again, if I can find it. Oh, bad podcaster. You know, I just did this last week. I don't know why I'm having issues. Looking for the darn, oh, there it is. I knit this one a lot during stitch night, so. Barocco Socks Metallic. 73% superwash wool, 25% nylon, 2% sparkly stuff. So that's about it. It's really, you know, I've been mainly knitting on my Pure Joy shawl because it's addictive. And I want it done so I can knit my sweaters. I am going to show you, though, my experimental rainbow socks, even though I think I've knit, why did I do this? Okay. So I was knitting on these socks during an assembly for school. It's my student placement, and I had finished a sock, and we were heading into recess, and I completely forgot that I did this. So while I knit this, so I can properly show this to you, how are you guys? I hope you guys are doing well. What else can I say? It's nice and lovely and fall-like. I hope it's been fall-like for you over where you are. Oh, and I never told you guys where I'm from. For those who are new, I come from the East Bay area of California, in the Northern California part. I live over in Hayward, California, which is considered the East Bay, even though, you know, if you think about it, the Bay Area is really big. And, you know, they separated by north, east, and south. And obviously San Francisco is considered the West Bay Area. Come on, guys. It's either that or the ocean. And the East Bay area consists, because I haven't, other than when I went to my undergrad, I've always lived in the East Bay area because I love it here. It's where I was planted, if you go by that. And so the East Bay is considered from Oakland, Emeryville, Berkeley, all the way out to Livermore. And once you get past Livermore, which is where I used to live, that's where you get out of the Bay Area. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm old-fashioned. Some people consider Tracy, which is over the hills from Livermore, the East Bay area. Nah, that's Central Valley. Sorry, guys. You're not Bay Area. Once you see cows, you're out of the Bay Area. I'm just saying. Anyway, now that I'm done blabbering in the middle of knitting and finished knitting, here's my experimental rainbow socks. Again, they're called experimental because I'm trying out the afterthought sock based off of kind of a theory that I have. I know that the Smooth Operator sock pattern by Susan B. Anthony has been going around the rounds with podcasters, and I'm definitely going to try that one out too, but I want to finish this experiment out first. And these are my Chowgu Wooden US 1s, and this is Knit Picks Felici in the rainbow, and I'll show you the label right now. This is done in superwash merino, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And I'm doing it 2 at a time, which I love to do. I was talking about this with my knit group that I hold, and you know, because who was I talking with? There's this one gal that, you know, she knits 1 at a time, and she's like, oh man, you know, it would be great, but and I said, you know what? You're allowed. It took me a long while to get socks 2 at a time. I mean, I think when I first started podcasting, I was still doing socks 1 at a time. You know, and when I started knitting socks, I was on DPNs, and now, once I was ready for Magic Loop, it was uphill, downhill, good hill from there. That is done with knitting. We are on the books. So, books. You know how you have the transitional? Well, now it's books. I decided the theme of books. You know how I used to do themes for books? We're going back to that because it's easier on me. Today I wanted to talk about unpopular women authors, where maybe they were popular and now they're not as known, but they still continue to write. So the first woman author that I wanted to talk about, I have my stack of books right here, was A.S. Byatt. So this is the one that I have that I still need to read, the children's book. This is her latest one, I believe. No, she just came out with another one, I think. But Anyway, she is known for the book Possession, which is also a movie with Gwyneth Paltrow and Aaron Eckhart. I like the movie, and I also like the book. They are both, they're not the same. And I like to emphasize that with people, that when books become movies, you have to look at the movie separately from the book. I always emphasize that. Just like with Harry Potter, the books are good, the movies are good. You just have to separate them because they have their own quality to it. They may be based on it, but in the end, the movies are separate. Always. And there's always going to be flaws. It's always going to be flawed in the execution. So, anyway, so A.S. Byatt is known for the book Possession, which, if you have not read Possession, I suggest you read the book. It's amazing. The movie is just as good, but as I said, it's just different. She also has a series of books that she did. It starts with, it's a Winter and Garden series. Oh man, I should have looked this up. I'll post it in the show notes, but it follows a family from the 1950s all the way to the end of the 1960s with the women's movement and whatnot, and it follows a family, but it also specifically follows this one certain woman. And it deals with specifically British history and how this woman goes through that historical arc. And she is a professor of English, A.S. Byatt. She teaches as well as writes literature. She is definitely very high-minded, as you can tell with the long pages. If you want to expand your vocabulary, she's a great author for that. And she also makes you start thinking about, especially with her historical series, it really gets you start wondering, okay, well, what happened? I was familiar with how the 1950s and 1960s were in the U.S., but not in Britain. So it was just very interesting to kind of see the development, especially in academics. As I said, she's a professor of English, so a lot of her perspective is from the point of an academic. So that's something to consider with A.S. Byatt. So maybe I'll read her next. I have been trying to figure out what the next fiction selection I was going to do. The next one I wanted to focus on is Joanne Harris. So this is the one I have. No, you don't need to know the rights. So as the book front, so this is actually the sequel to the book that she is most known for, which is Chocolat. So by the way, all the women authors that I talk about mostly write literature. It's considered in the genre of literature. It's highbrow. It's considered highbrow. It's considered a little bit more academic than, romance and drama and the Nora Roberts, which nothing wrong with that, but just consider these are pretty highbrow. If you want to consider it that. But Joanne Harris tends to be on the lighter note. So if A.S. Byatt tends to be on the heavier, like heavy on the soul, heavy on the thinking, heavy on the thought process, if you want to go there. Joanne Harris is a little bit lighter, but still makes you think. My favorite actually out of hers was actually not Chocolat. Which one was it? It was dealing with the coast. It was still set in France. So a lot of Joanne Harris's books are set in France because that's where she lives. It's a well-known quote from Henry James to Edith Wharton, you write what you know. A lot of authors do that. They write what they know. So that's what Joanne Harris is. I have not read this book either. I'm showing you books that I haven't read yet because I gave away all the books that I've read already to make space. So, yeah, she is wonderful. She does, I wrote a note. She also has that small village feel. So it's not like Paris and all the big towns in France that she focuses on. She focuses on small village feel and the family environment within that village and just the small I'm losing the word. It's just the small ecology of the village. So I am actually pretty excited about reading the sequel because I did enjoy Chocolat. And I will put a link to the book that I unfortunately forgot the name of, but it was Coastal. And then lastly, this one, she's definitely more on the periphery of literature, a lot more lesbian and bisexual women may know her more than mainstream, but she did become more well known for the book The Night Watch. I actually wrote in my notes Tipping the Velvet, but I'm changing my mind about that. Tipping the Velvet is definitely known in LGBTQ circle in regards to literature, but her book The Night Watch became a lot more popular and was on more bestsellers than Tipping the Velvet. And that is, I'm trying to cover it up again, but of course, is Affinity. So I haven't read Affinity, but it's Sarah Waters. She is known mostly for historical fiction, but historical lesbian romance. Let's just put that out there. Like Affinity is supposed to be about the relationship between a psychologist and a prisoner, or maybe a prison warden and a I don't know. I haven't read it. But my favorite is still Tipping the Velvet, and that is dealing with the relationship between two performers. And no, take that back. It's about a woman who is from a coastal part of Britain, and she moves out of that coastal area. She runs away with this one gal that she meets in London in the circus, vaudeville, and they perform, and life ensues. It's set in Victorian London. The last book I read of Sarah Waters was The Paying Guest, and that was in the time period of after World War I. The Night Watch is the time period after World War II. I liked The Night Watch. I thought it was okay, but I think my favorite is still Tipping the Velvet. That was my first Sarah Waters and still my favorite. I look forward to see where she goes from here. But as I said, Sarah Waters, she is known for her historical LGBTQ romances or / dramas. But it's still considered a little bit highbrow for the fact of how she handles the romance between the two women. And I just realized that all the authors I picked that were unpopular are all out of Europe or the UK. That's interesting. I'll have to find American or US. But anyway, those are the 3 women I wanted to highlight. And I think I would really like my book section to be more focused on women. Only I know that we always talk about women authors, but we always have that women's authors, they do fluffy stuff, which is not true. It's absolutely not true. I think women authors are just as good as male authors, and I think they can give you a sucker punch sometimes, even if it's romance, you know? Yeah, anyway. The feminist in me. So now we're on to makeup. Makeup. Ooh, transitional. I know I haven't had this section in a while because I don't do my nails. I have someone else do my nails. Again, I know. But I'm actually gonna talk about that later in a few other episodes because I want to do a really good review of this. But I did want to do a review of an eyeliner that I have found. And I'm just going to spread the word. I don't care if it's old news, but I'm doing it anyway. So, I recently, while perusing Ulta, because I love Ulta, because I'm always in the search of a good eyeliner, one that doesn't smear, stays on your eyes at the end of the day, doesn't have that raccoon, and so far, I think I found mine. Now, I think just like with nail polish, makeup goes with chemistry. So this could be good for me, but not for others, but it's always worth a try. So the eyeliner is called, of course, the brand is Stila, and the eyeliner is, well, now you're going to focus on my face, really? So it's called Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner. There you go. Okay. And it's fabulous. Can I just pull this out for you? So, it's fabulous, guys. It is so fabulous. Look at that tip. Oops. Look at that tip. So, that's one of the reasons why I love this. Also, it stays. Now, you want to see? I cannot say that I'm the best in doing eye makeup. I'm experimenting, I'm exploring. I know you don't want to put too much, but you also want to make it subtle, you know, blah, 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 blah. But the fact that the eyeliner helps it make it look like I know what I'm doing makes it good for me. And it doesn't take forever. I don't have a steady hand. Here's the thing, I don't have a steady hand. So I like the fact that if I do mess up, it easily comes off with a Q-tip, because it's a liquid. Unlike with kohl or one of those, you know, eyeliner pencils, once you mess up, it's like causing a disaster. You know, with this, whoop. And unlike all the other liquid eyeliners that I have, the tip again makes it easier to put it close to your lashes, while other ones that I've encountered, and also they stay. It stays. I don't have any eyeshadow primer on. None. This is, yeah, none. Most of the other liquid or pencil have smeared by the end of the day. Nope. And I ran through the test. I spent 2 to 3 days using just this eyeliner with no primer. And I was running around, hanging out with kids, doing all that stuff. Nope. Did not run. Did not have the lines in between the eye creases. Didn't have any of that. So I definitely approve of this. This is my go-to eyeliner. So if you are also having issues with eyeliner, that no matter what you do, it always runs and makes you look like a raccoon or just looks awful, I definitely think you should try the Stila. So it's Stila Stay, I have to read it again. Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner. And this is intense black, by the way, because I like black. I could have done the charcoal, the gray, but I like the more of the black look. Yeah. So I definitely suggest that. Yeah. 2 thumbs up, guys. 2 thumbs up. Alright. If I can get this under an hour, we will. Stash therapy. Hold on. I need a drink. Anyway, stash therapy. So I did get my Highland Handmade Sock Club. I didn't think I would, but I did. And it came today. Oh. Are you ready? Are you ready? They're so pretty. It's called the West, which I'm imagining the sunset, you know, as a cowboy walks over to the sunset. So I'm just imagining that it's, you know, someone walking out to the west, you know, going to the sunset, cowboy. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? It's very nice. And it's her white maple base, sock base, which is 100% superwash merino. So isn't that gorgeous? Very fall-like, which I like. Maybe, well, I mean, the orange, if you can see the orange. This is true to color, by the way. So, I love it. I love it. I've been impressed with the last few sock shipments, so. And then the little thing that comes with it, because she has these little things that make it a little bit extra. She gave us handmade with love cards, which is very sweet. I loved it. I've been liking the extra so far. Alright. And that's it for stash therapy, because again, I'm on a strict budget. So before I go on to etc., and whatnot, I did want to mention that there is going to be an upcoming event that I will be going to, and that is Stitches West. I decided I want to go to Stitches West this year, and I'm going to participate more in the outside events other than the marketplace. So I will be doing the pajama party, and I'm going to attend the podcaster meetup. So I need to look those times up. And again, my camera's being stupid. So I will be doing that. So if you are going, let me know. We can meet up. We can do whatever. So yeah. And if you don't know, Stitches West is in February. So that's why it's a little advance notice, but I just decided so that way I can start saving and start thinking, okay, what do I want to get there? What pattern do I want to shop for? I'm going to be a little bit more smart about going to Stitches West. I'm not going to go piggy because, you know, we don't have the funds for that. So, and I need to stash down a lot more. So knit through my sweater quantities of yarn and really knit some socks that are not commissioned and knit socks for me. So yeah, I figure I will have more opportunity to do that when I start classes. So, because I got a lot of knitting done during classes. It's just, I don't want to rush that because I want to, you know, I want to enjoy my freedom after, while I'm doing my hours, my teaching hours, but man, I need more knitting time. Because when I get home, I start prepping for the next day, for the things that I've been asked to do in the class. So I spend a lot of time doing that and then not knitting, which is okay. But anyway. All right, so yeah, that is my goal. So now we're going on to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you are you're only here for the crafty stuff and you're not here to listen to my babblings and going ons of what's going on in my life, it was great chatting with you. I will see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday or whatever day you're watching this on, because most likely it won't be up on Sunday. We'll see. For those who want to continue, let's get on with the madness, shall we? Yes. I did make it more structured though, so don't worry. It's not gonna be like last time. I'm at 40 minutes already though. My gosh, how do I talk that much? Oy. Anyway, I did want to talk about what I'm watching. I assure you, no documentaries were watched during this week. Just Stranger Things. Yeah, I delved. I went in. Peter watched with me for as much as he can, because he's already seen it. But he doesn't want to ruin it for me. But he knows that I need my handheld, because I get scared. I do. I get scared very easily. That's why I don't watch horror films. That's why. Because I get scared. I think the last horror film I watched was The Ring. Oh, God. Oh, and I had to watch it multiple times. And I was still scared. Ugh. But, no, Stranger Things is not that scary, but it still has that Stephen King-esque, which, don't get me started on that, and it, and the fact that they're remaking that movie. Anyway, it's really good. I do like Stranger Things. It does appeal to me. I do scream though. It amuses my husband to no end. I don't know why. Seriously, there was this one part in the show, actually in the last episode. I have 3 more episodes to go, guys. And it was during this one scene, and there was this one, oh, moment, and I'm like, ah! And then someone else screamed, so ah! I amuse myself at least, right? So, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I have 3 more episodes, which once I finish the rest of the latest Spicy Homemaker podcast, I'm going to go and watch that. So that's what I wanted to tell you. Can I just say, it's fall. I know a lot of podcasters have been talking about the fact that it's now September and it's now fall, but you don't know how happy I am that it's below 75 today, not tomorrow, or the next day. According to weather.com, it's going to be in the 80s this week. It's just not fair. It's not. It's not. I want cold. I want cold, please. I was just born in the wrong area. And as a lot of people are doing, people are drinking their pumpkin spice latte. I love pumpkin spice latte. It just does have a lot of sugar. So, I did have my first pumpkin latte at Pete's, which Pete's doesn't have that much of sugariness, but it's still sugar. Oh, it's so good. And so, but yeah, I've been trying to make my own here because Trader Joe's doesn't have their pumpkin spice coffee yet. That's when I'm truly happy, is when my pumpkin spice coffee comes. It's not here yet. So you have to wait. They don't bring that out until at least October, I think. I don't think Trader Joe's doesn't start selling that until October or mid-October or even November, I don't believe. So I want to figure out how to make my own because this girlie here wants some pumpkin. She wants some pumpkin spice coffee. Now, I could go to San Marcos because they do have their pumpkin spice coffee, but again, we're on a very strict budget, and San Marcos is more money than the coffee that we get at Food Source. So that's why I'm trying to find my own. Now, how much it would be to buy the spices, that's another thing. I'll have to look at that. I don't know, but I'll have to look into that. So yeah, it's finally fall. It's September. Again, at least I amuse myself. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was cooking. So, if you have not seen my vlog yet of my pesto chicken, you can go ahead and check that out. But I've been starting to try to challenge myself on cooking because I'm trying to do more whole foods rather than processed foods. And it's a little hard to do that when you're used to cooking with processed stuff. Like, it's so interesting how many additives are in bouillon, in onion soup packets, even in almond milk. Or what else? What else did heavy whipping cream. Heavy whipping cream has an additive. It's milk. I think it's like milk, cream, and carrageenan, which is someone was telling me it's a preservative. It's to help keep it on the shelf for longer. But that's crazy. That's crazy. Can we just, let's just do milk. If it's milk, it's milk, So we're not here to talk about that. We're here talking about my cooking challenges. So I've been working more on, one, diversifying my cooking portfolio, as well as trying to focus more on whole foods, cooking with whole foods rather than processed. So one thing that I am so proud of figuring it out successfully without any issues was making my own whole wheat pie crust. Oh my gosh, yes. Unfortunately, when I tried it, when I did my experiment, I did have to cut it with a little bit of white flour, just regular white flour, because we did run out of whole wheat flour. So I'm going to see how it does with just 100% whole wheat flour, whole wheat all-purpose flour, and see how that goes. It's probably going to be a little bit more fiddly, but I don't think that much. So I made with the pie crust a burger pie, and if you have not seen it on Instagram, I'm going to, of course, post the picture at the end of this episode. I made it with baby kale. Was it baby kale? Yeah, baby kale, ground beef, and fajita veggies. Oh my gosh! And I made a bechamel sauce that I added a ton of Colby Jack cheese. Oh, I think though I needed to put a lot more veggies because or lessen my cheese sauce because it was a little runny, and but it was all the way cooked. It was 100% cooked. Um, but yeah, it wasn't. It was a lot of cheese sauce, but it was so good. Oh gosh, and it was easy to form. It was very easy to form. Um, just so much fun to do. And I actually had a ton extra. So what I did is the crust when I cut it off. So to kind of explain, and oh, sorry, I'm gonna backtrack. I am gonna post the recipe in the show notes. So don't worry, it's a Whole Foods recipe. So you know it's good, and it doesn't have any sugar. None. So I doubled the recipe because the recipe only has enough to put the bottom crust, but I knew that we were at the end of the month, so we were kind of stretching our groceries kind of thin. So I knew I didn't have enough egg to make a quiche, so that's why I did the cheese sauce. So I doubled the recipe, and so I can make a top. And so cutting it together, adding it bottom and top, I had a lot of extra. So I made a little dessert empanada, which I stuffed with fresh raspberries, a square of 86% cacao chocolate bar from Ghirardelli, and a sprinkling of dark cacao powder, and cinnamon, and baked it in there. Oh, and then Peter and I shared it, and it was good. It was very good. I was telling a friend of mine last night about my pie crust because I was so proud of it, and he was like, "So where is it so I can eat it?" I'm like, we ate it already. Sorry. He's like, then why are you telling me? So yeah. The other thing that I made this week that was a great challenge was chicken adobo. I've made chicken adobo before. That wasn't the challenge. The challenge was not using the adobo flavor packets that they have at a Ranch 99. The flavor packet that I'm used to using is Mamacita's, but the adobo packet has sugar in it. So I threw them out. I'm like, so how am I going to cook this? I'm so used to the packets, right? And then adding the vinegar and the soy sauce and all that stuff. But I said, you know what? I can do it. So I normally make my adobo in a crock pot during the week, especially. So I made it in a crock pot, and it didn't turn out very well. I didn't put enough vinegar or soy sauce or garlic. It just was bland. It was very bland. So when we had game night last night, I said, okay, I need to find a recipe so I know the exact quantities. Because again, as I've said, I tend to eye it, but if I know I'm having issues, I find a recipe. Just like with the whole wheat pie crust, I couldn't do that on my own because I've never made pie crust in my life before. So, I have to get a recipe for that. So I tried out a recipe on Food Network. It was written in by a fellow Filipino woman. They also, okay, I'm going to go on a social justice tangent, but there were two Filipino chicken adobo recipes. One by a Filipino woman, which, looking at the ingredients, authentic. The other one was by one of their Food Network hosts. White old man. And in the ingredients was brown sugar and hot sauce and jalapenos. Are you confusing the Filipino adobo chicken with the Spanish? Because yes, I know we have similar dishes that but are very different. And even if you go into the Philippines, there's this dish called beef caldereta. That is and even chicken adobo. So okay, forming thoughts. So with beef caldereta, it's a beef stew. It's a beef stew, but depending on the region that you are in, sometimes it's spicy, sometimes it's not. And it depends on what type of meat is in there. So sometimes it's beef caldereta, or sometimes it's pork caldereta, or it's organ caldereta. It depends on what is available. With Filipino cuisine, it tends to be a lot more pork also, because pork is more abundant in the Philippines. And also, if you're closer to this coast, it's seafood because, islands. So, I was just looking at this recipe, and I mean, it was late at night, and I was pissed off. I get easily pissed off at night because I'm tired and whatever. But expletives were abound, and I'm not going to go into what I said, but it was really angering me. It's like, and the thing is, he's trying to, he says, here's a live video, because it was part of a show that he did, and I'm like, how dare you? How dare you try to take over a culture that's not even bleeping yours? How dare you? And then you don't even get the dish right. In what part of the Philippines, and I've been to the Philippines, you poophead, do you include bleeping jalapenos and hot sauce? I'm sorry, sriracha is not a Filipino thing. Filipinos do use it, and they enjoy it. And spicy is not, we do like our spicy. But if you go to bleeping Philippines, do you ever see jalapenos? I'm really trying to make this non-dirty. You don't see jalapenos. They don't grow in the Philippines. So yeah, which recipe am I going to trust? That really peeved me. It's like, come on, really, Food Network, really? Get rid of the stupid white man and if you're gonna want to show people how to make Filipino chicken adobo, get rid of the stupid white dude and put an actual Filipino woman on your TV. Okay, I'm done. So yeah, I found a recipe for chicken adobo. My mom, again, as I said, my mom doesn't cook. She has made chicken adobo, and it was quite delicious, but she doesn't write that down either. She's kind of like me. So I found a recipe that's, just looking at the quantities of vinegar with soy sauce, because I have had tendency to either over vinegar or over soy sauce. Never have been able to equal parts. So knowing the right quantities was perfect. Also, I added a ton of garlic sauce, and I added a little bit of cornstarch to add some thickening. And then we also have this hot and smoky adobo seasoning that we got at Oaktown Spice Shop. So that I added as well to add a little bit of spice. A little bit. And also, it says adobo spice, which is commonly Latin. Because I don't think it's just Mexico. I think it's Latin. But I always add a little bit of that because I like it. It adds a nice dimension to it. And then instead of for the crock pot, because with the crock pot, crock, crock pot, you tend to just boil the meat. I would always sear it to add some extra taste, but Peter was helping me with this actually. He just put it. I let it marinate in olive oil and garlic, adobo, spice, salt and pepper, and I let it marinate in olive oil for a few hours, and then he put it in the sauce that I made. So I actually made the sauce first, and then with the cornstarch. Oh, and bay leaves. Bay leaves, all that stuff. Let that simmer. Put it on low. I did not go higher, but I let it simmer a little bit. And then once it was ready to put in the chicken, I put in the chicken. Well, sorry, Peter put in the chicken. And we let that go boiling. I think he turned up the heat. Boiled it for 20 minutes and then let it sit. Turn off the heat, let it sit to let it thicken, and it turned out great. It was delicious. So without any flavor packets. So that was great. So the next challenge, because it's an hour. How do I do this? Okay. Because I go on rants about white men. So the next challenge I would really like to do is bread. We don't have a bread maker though, so we've perfected delicious whole food ice cream because we have an ice cream maker, but I would love to make bread without a bread maker, but we'll see. I put bread, maybe, or I would really like to figure out how to do whole food cookies or desserts. Like that empanada was delicious. Oh my gosh, it was so delicious. But it would be kind of cool to do cookies. I miss cookies. That's the thing, is you can't have cookies without either processed sugar or fake processed sugar. So I don't know. It would be kind of cool to see if there's any whole food, clean living cookies. I'll have to look that up. A lot of them I do know have banana in it, which I'm not a big fan of banana, but maybe if I add it with something else, I don't know. I'll have to Pinterest it. But that's my next challenge that I want to do. All right. And I think that's it, guys. I do not want to take up any more of your time. So you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Knitterly Book Lady. You can also find the podcast group on Ravelry as Knit Chat with Jen. All you have to do is search Knit Chat with Jen. Show notes can be found in the Ravelry thread in the group or down below. And I've been trying to be really good about that. Thank you so much for staying with me for this long with all the distractions of people above me and ranting. It was a great pleasure to spend my Sunday afternoon with you. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the 3-day weekend if you are living in the States. And love you all. Bye. Until it's not. Come on. Focus. Jazz hands. Jazz hands. Are you going to focus on the jazz hands? you go. Thank you.